Ancient Keys to Mental Health, from A to Z. Mind Refreshed is the final title of the book, which had the working title, Transform Your Mind, Upgrade Your Life. I brainstormed dozens of titles, even using AI, and many are appealing, exciting, and catchy. However, all are taken by websites and books and don't reflect what I felt we needed for this book. Let me tell you the story it narrates, and you tell me what you think of the title. This is Chapter 35, Epilogue from the book Mind Refreshed, from The Explanation with Sam Kneller. Mind Refreshed, Why, How, What of Consciousness and Mind. You can't mend a mind if you don't know what the mind is. The first item to kick off is the revelation of what the mind is, and even more fundamentally, what consciousness is. The entire book, Mind-Body Problem Solved, is devoted to this subject. The beginning of Mind Refreshed is a succinct version revealing the godly origin of these two spiritual entities, Neshama and Ruach. In the preface, I asked 20 questions about Genesis 2 verse 7. God formed man from the dust of the earth and breathed the breath of life into his nostrils, and man became a living soul. The explanation said you can only know the fullness of consciousness and mind when you answer those questions. Through the first chapters of Mind Refreshed, we answered all those questions using biblical Hebrew to reach the God-intended meaning of consciousness and mind's why, how, and what. God gave Neshama and Ruach to each human who will ever walk the face of earth. We are all in the image of God, thanks to his implanting a human portion of his Neshama and Ruach in each of us. Coupled with that infrastructure and energy, he gave us the sacred formula of how to make them function so each human, believer or not, can benefit from a sound mind and possess mental health. That's the second part of the workbook, Mind Refreshed, with Bible Proverbs nurturing and healing method. Please understand, you now have the entire program God set in motion for humankind on earth. Science and philosophy are still searching for the what of consciousness and mind. Psychology and alternative therapies are tinkering with the how of consciousness and mind. And nobody knows the why of consciousness and mind. The key elements for human functioning are a lost cause, and we wonder why we have so much mental illness. We don't need to be ignorant any longer. Mind Refreshed reveals the why, how, and what of consciousness and mind, and how to nurture, heal, and empower mental health. The approach takes the theoretical knowledge all the way to the practical application for all human beings. It's a complete, coherent program. The title, Mind Refreshed, reveals the Bible base for mental health. Search for Refreshed at unlockbiblemeaning.com. Read and meditate on all 10 verses and ask yourself, would I like to possess this rest? I dare say yes. Now, switch to Strong's, the box on the right, and let's study the God-intended meaning of refreshed. Job 32, verse 20. I, Elihu, will speak. that I may be refreshed. Strong's H7304. I will open my lips and answer. Elihu, the youngest of Job's 4 friends, was frustrated by the 3 others' replies to Job. He'd bottled up his speech because of his age. Now he burst forth with a correct answer to Job's woes and was refreshed. Look at the biblical Hebrew meaning, especially its origin. H7304, Ruach, a primitive root, identical with H7306, properly to breathe freely, i.e., revive. King James Version translations, be refreshed, large. H7306, Ruach, a primitive root, properly to blow, i.e., breathe, only, literally, to smell, or by implication, perceive, figuratively, to anticipate, enjoy. KJV translations, accept, smell, make of quick understanding. H7307, Ruach, from H7306, wind, by resemblance breath, i.e. a sensible or even violent exhalation. Figuratively, life, anger. By extension, a region of the sky, by resemblance spirit, but only of a rational being, including its expression and functions. KJV translations, air, anger, blast, breath, cool, courage, mind, tempest, whirlwind, wind, and windy. The origin of refreshed is make of quick understanding, H7306, and it's exactly the same word in Hebrew as mind, H7307. We can say mind refreshed, Ruach Ravach, H7307 and H7304. Hebrew reads from right to left. Do you see the relationship? Exodus 23:12. 6 days you shall do your work, and on the 7th day you shall rest, that your ox and your ass may rest, and the son of your handmaid and the stranger may be refreshed. H53:14. The 7th-day Sabbath is a day of refreshing. People tend to emphasize physical rest, which is necessary, but the essential is refreshing the whole person, especially their mind. Look at this second Hebrew word translated refreshed. H53:14. Nafash, a primitive root, to breathe, passively to be breathed upon, i.e., refreshed as if by a current of air. KJV translations, refresh and refresh selves. Nafash is the same word as nephesh, H53:15, the word soul in Genesis 2 verse 7. The Sabbath is the day for refreshing the soul, which includes the body, consciousness, and mind. We can say soul refreshed is nefesh nafash, H35:15 and H35:14. Mind refreshed, summary of God's plan for humanity. When we come to the Greek New Testament, we also find mind refreshed. In fact, God's plan for humankind can be summed up as, "Let this mind be in you, which was also in Christ Jesus." Philippians 2 verse 5. Paul refers to a refreshed or rested mind. 1 Corinthians 16:18. For they, the messengers from Corinth, for they have refreshed, that's Strong's G 373, they have refreshed my spirit and yours. Therefore, acknowledge you that are such. G 373, anapao, to repose, by implication, to refresh. KJV translations, take ease, refresh, rest. Rest ties into the Sabbath day of rest, the day of physical rest to refresh the mind and focus it on the mind of Christ. Matthew 11, verse 28. Come to me, all you that labor and are heavy laden. Strong's G 5412. And I will give you rest. G 373. Check G 5412. Strong refers to it as spiritual anxiety. It includes mental anxiety that we all suffer from to a more or lesser degree, whether we are believers or non-believers. The remedy is Christ's mind, refreshing ourselves with Christ's way, whether spiritual or secular. The way to have your mind refreshed is through Bible Proverbs method, which heals mental anxiety and nurtures mental health in our younger generation. This is biblical psychology based on a solid scriptural foundation of understanding the nature of consciousness and mind, how they function, and the formula God gave humankind so each of us possesses a thriving mind. Mind Refreshed is an apt title for this book. Join the free mini-course, just 20 minutes of video, to see the deeper God-intended meaning of Adam and Eve's nakedness, based on 7 keys to master biblical Hebrew with no fuss. theexplanation.com/naked.